For centuries, we have called out to the universe, looking for answers. In 2024, the universe calls back.
Bring us your leader.
Hi, can you hear me?
Honey, now is a really bad time.
Okay. Bye. I love you. I love you. I love you. This is new. No. Thank you! Whoa. Please state the name of your homeworld. Earth?
Welcome, leader of Earth. We are the United Advanced Species of the universe.
I think there's been a mistake.
You're not the leader of Earth?
Sorry for the mix-up.
Commence memory wipe.
No, wait! I am the leader of Earth.
Why is your voice different?
I've always talked like this since I was a kid, which I'm obviously not anymore. But yes, I run the planet.
The trial of Earth can proceed.
Uh-oh.
Until then, as you say on Earth, okay, bye. I love you.
Okay.
Bye. I love you.
I love you.
You're the talk of the Communiverse.
If Mom could see me now.
I know what you mean. I ate my mother at birth. But in moments of great success, I regret it.
That's a thing for your species?
No, just a me thing. Everyone was shocked.
Who is Elio when we meet him, and what's his biggest wish, and how does this evolve when it comes true?
Yeah, so Elio is just an amazing kid with a great spirit, and I love everything about him. I mean, he has this ability not to care about what other people think, and that's what I admire about him. And he's taught me, to always be myself and not to care what others think. His wish is really just to go to space, but also find friends and find the people who he can relate to. And that's why the reason he wants to go to space is really just because he feels like he's alone on Earth, and he's going through grief at such a young age that no kid should have to go through. But one night he gets abducted by aliens, and his wishes of going to space come true when he's beamed up by these aliens of the Communiverse, which is this amazing magical universe up in space.
Describe Elio's relationship with his Aunt Olga.
Elio's relationship with Aunt Olga is a rather strained relationship in the beginning. I feel like Elio is super mischievous, and he's doing a lot of things that his aunt is telling him not to do. But Elio is human, and I think at times all kids can do that, including me. But towards the end, I think, their relationship is less strained, and Olga understands what Elio is going through, and she accepts him for who he is, and it's such a touching story. They find out, that they have a lot more in common, and they really love each other.
Set the stage for when Elio gets abducted by aliens. The spaceship, the lights, and how he reacts, which might be terrifying to other people.
Yeah, I mean, the way the Pixar animators just thought about this world and created the ships, the aliens, the craziest thing to me. It's super inspiring. It wants to make me get better at just drawing, and even though I'm really bad at drawing, I don't know how they just think about it and just put it on the paper. It's so inspiring. But I mean, yeah, this, Elio's ship, for example, it looks so simple, but then when you go on the inside, there's so much detail, and it's a lot deeper than just a ship, and it's a lot deeper than just an alien friend,
In your words, describe how Elio feels when he sees it when it starts happening.
When what starts?
When the abduction starts happening,
Oh.
when the lights come and he's going into space.
Yeah, so in this space, right before he's about to get abducted, I think he's about to get, punched. because he's getting bullied by these two kids at his camp. And time freezes like right when his hands are like this. And Elio's like, wow, well, this is strange. There's a big green light that flashes onto Elio. He slowly walks up. He's like a little wary about it. But then all of a sudden he gets beamed up and he's so excited. You hear it in his voice. And, you know, when I was recording this, I really felt for Elio. And I just imagined myself like, if I was getting beamed up by aliens, how cool would it be, you know?
Who is Lord Grygon, and why does Elio volunteer to negotiate with the fierce warlord on behalf of the Communiverse?
Yeah, so Lord Grygon is the dad of Glorden, Elio's best friend. He is this very scary warlord of his planet, Hylerg, which is also in space. And Ambassador Grygon wants to become an ambassador at the Communiverse, but the people of the Communiverse don't want him to be. They think, you know, he's going to cause mass destruction, which he does. And he gets upset when the Communiverse declines his offer. So Grygon says he's going to destroy the Communiverse. So Elio decides that he wants to talk to Grygon, otherwise he's going to have to go back down to Earth. The Communiverse is going to just put him back down to Earth where he does not want to be. So he decides to just talk to Lord Grygon and try and get him not to destroy the Communiverse. And that's just really because he's so alone on Earth that he's willing to do anything that it takes to stay up on space.
You mentioned Glorden. Who is Glorden, and why is he so important to Elio's personal transformation?
Yeah, Glorden is this super cute, cuddly, amazing, toothy worm alien that Elio makes friends with in space. He's the son of Ambassador Grygon, and they meet in the Communiverse. You know, Elio and Glorden physically they look a lot different. I mean, aliens and humans are completely different, but they have so much in common. I mean, they share so many similar traits, and they both feel alone. I mean, Glorden is feeling alone on space, Elio's feeling alone on Earth, and that's why they bond. And Glorden really helps Elio from becoming a little bit more shy in the beginning to becoming more like in himself, in his own skin. Elio really knows who he's truly meant to be.
How would you describe the look of the film, specifically Pixar's take on outer space?
The look of the film, I mean, if I could give it in 3 words, I would say magical, adventure, and beautiful. I mean, the Communiverse, when I saw it animated fully for the first time, some of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen. The way the Pixar animators just animated this amazing universe that's never been seen before is so crazy. And the aliens are also so beautiful, and they fit so well in the Communiverse. And yeah, I would just say how magical. It's very magical.
Describe the process recording a character for the Pixar movie. How did you get into character when you were doing your voice?
Yeah, I mean, when I was starting this Elio role, I didn't have to do too much to tap into Elio because we share so many similar traits. I mean, Elio is, like I said, a great kid with an amazing spirit, and he's always down for an adventure, and I feel like I can relate to all those 3 things. I mean, he just doesn't really care about what people think, and he's kind of taught me in a way to live by that. And that's why I feel like when doing Elio, I just had to be myself, and I feel like I am Elio and Jonas at the same time.
What do you hope audiences take away from the movie?
I hope that they just walk out of this theater super entertained, but also mostly the deeper meaning is really just how important your friends like Glorden and your family like Olga are to you, and they just want the best for you. And also, if you're feeling alone, you feel like you don't have, it's hard to make friends, and you're going through grief at a young age or any age, you know, it's all going to be okay, and you'll get through it.
Give us your elevator pitch. What is Elio about?
Elio is a movie that answers a what-if question. What if Earth's strangest, weirdest little boy was abducted by aliens and is mistaken for the leader of Earth.
Domi, tell us more about Elio. Why does he want to be abducted by aliens?
Elio wants to be abducted by aliens because he feels like he no longer belongs on Earth, and he truly belongs in space with his fellow aliens, and he hopes to find his people in space.
Mary Alice, describe the dual sets of this film and how the contrast reflects the storytelling.
On Elio, we really thought about the two main locations. We have Earth and we have the Communiverse. And when we meet Elio, he's on Earth, and the way we portray Earth is muted colors, really hard lines, just to try to contrast this little colorful little art weird child. And then when he goes to space, it's like wish fulfillment. It's this beautiful, amazing, dazzling jewel in the sky. And there we really lean into organic shapes, bright colors, bioluminescence. And so we hope that those two contrasts really help us tell our story.
Madeline, describe the Communiverse, the inspiration behind it, and the organization of the aliens that reside there.
The idea behind the Communiverse, it's sort of supposed to represent Elio's greatest dream. It's this utopic planet almost hanging in the sky where aliens all across the universe have gathered to sort of share information, knowledge. We talked about it like a space UN. And the whole point for us, as we were designing the Communiverse and designing the aliens, was to make them feel unique, organic, friendly. And when Elio first sees the Communiverse and first meets these aliens, we needed to be in his shoes as he realizes, this place is incredible and I never want to leave.
Domi, who is Lord Gragon? Why has he targeted the Communiverse? And how does Elio end up volunteering to settle the dispute?
Lord Gragon is a very proud warlord from the planet Hylurg, and the culture of Hylurg is they are all about appearing as tough and as powerful as possible. And Gragon wants to join the Communiverse because he thinks their technologies and his weapons will, create even more, power and security for his planet. But then he's very offended when the Communiverse rejects him. The Communiverse is a peace-loving society, and Gragon is not. And when he's rejected, he takes it very personally, and he vows to wipe out the Communiverse in retaliation for rejecting him. And Elio kind of bravely volunteers to help talk down Gragon in this moment of panic for the Communiverse when everyone's like fretting and they're wanting to escape and flee. Elio's bravely volunteers and says, "I'll do it. I'll talk to the warlord. I can negotiate with him, and in return, please let me stay on the Communiverse forever." And that's kind of how Elio gets roped into negotiating peace with Lord Gragon.
Hey Alice, let's talk about casting. How do Jonas and Zoe bring their characters to life?
Wow, yeah, I think we're so lucky to have the cast that we do on Elio. We have, obviously, our main character, Elio, is played by Jonas Kibriab. He is a young man, and he's grown up on this film. This is a film about Elio coming of age, and Jonas literally came of age recording with us. And he brings so many things. He's so talented. He is so energetic. He's curious, I think, like Elio. We all think he might actually make a wonderful ambassador for us, for Earth, because he's very confident. We can see him charming everyone. And then, of course, Zoe Saldana, amazing, the queen of sci-fi. Just a wonderful person. She's a mom. She's played so many military roles. So even just meeting with her early on, she had such great insights to Olga. And so I think, their relationship is really the heart of the film, and both their performances add so much nuance and energy. And they're both really funny, too. So they're great to take us on this fun adventure.
Who is Gordon? Why is he so important to Elio's personal transformation?
Glorden is one of our favorite characters that you'll meet on Elio's galactic journey. He is a little space worm who is from the planet Hylarg, where Lord Grygon is also from. But what makes Glorden different from his dad is that Glorden is a really sweet and sensitive little boy. And when Elio first meets Glorden, he's afraid of him. He's got all these teeth. They don't speak the same language. They don't look alike at all. But as they get to know each other over the course of the story, they realize that they're really quite similar. They're two lonely little boys who just wanted to find connection. And Elio makes his first friend in Glorden, and it opens his eyes to the possibility of making friends anywhere he goes.
What did Remy Edgerly bring to this character, and in contrast that to Brad Garrett as Lord Grygon?
Oh, Remy brought so much to the character of Glorden. Remy basically is Glorden. I feel like his voice, his mannerisms, his characteristics are all pretty much what we tried to capture and put into the character Glorden. The first time we heard his voice, it was just so cute and quirky and natural and unique. And we thought, wouldn't this be such a fun voice to put into the mouth of a giant, toothy alien worm? Like, that contrast we thought was hilarious. And that's part of Glorden's charm. I love Remy because he's also down to try a bunch of stuff in the booth. Like when we did a recording session with him and we asked him to cry from his mouth, he was like, let me try something. And then he would try a bunch of sounds. He gargled water to try to get the sounds to sound right. Yeah, he's great. He's basically Glorden if Glorden was human.
Ambassador Cuesta is this regal, beautiful ambassador in the Communiverse. In fact, she's kind of the head ambassador when we arrive there. Jamila Jamil is such an amazing comic actress. She's so funny, and she's also so dignified. Her voice, her performance just adds so much. Cuesta is one of our most beautiful aliens, but Jamila's voice just takes it to the next level. And Jamila's like, she's a very method actor. One time she came in dressed as a squid, really committed to this character. And so I think she's just always up for anything, kind of fun. And then at the end of the film, actually Cuesta shares with Elio like this line, that's really the theme of the film, that you're unique, but sometimes unique feels like being alone, but you're not alone. And I remember her taking her time and recording that line, and it's just a beautiful piece of the film.
We were incredibly lucky on Elio to have Rob Simonson as our composer. And I remember one of the first things that Rob did for Domi and I was play us a suite that he'd composed, just 10 minutes, kind of moving through pieces of the film, kind of sharing what his plans for the movie would be. And the very first part of that suite was Elio's theme, that simple melody. And we fell in love with it right away. I don't think we changed it from there because that theme sort of embodied this loneliness, but also the hope that Elio has. And it was really exciting working with Rob as we found where to place that theme in the film and where to evolve it and where to feel Elio's character change thanks to the music. Rob also is a huge fan of aliens and sci-fi, just like we are. So for him, I think it was fun to pay homage to sci-fi classics. Like you'll hear John Williams' influence in these huge, big sweeping brass moments, but also some really fun with synthy, more alien sounds in the Communiverse. So we're just so lucky that it was Rob. He was a joy to work with, and I think Elio's score is one of the greatest strengths of the film.
Tommy, Pixar is known for infusing its films with action, heart, and humor. How does Elio meet that criteria?
Yeah, what I love so much about Elio is that it is this epic space adventure, but at its core, it's this very, very deep and emotional and intimate kind of story about this lonely boy looking for connection in the universe. And and his relationship with his aunt Olga, his relationship with Glorden. These are animated characters, but they feel very real. These relationships are very, very real. When he fights with his aunt, we drew a lot from, our own fights with our own parental figures, our own kids, and just like how there's miscommunication when, one side is not understanding the other. But at the same time, Elio is transported to this magical place called the Communiverse, kind of like our space UN, where creatures from all over the galaxies and come and live and work together, and he has to do incredible things like negotiate with a warlord. He has to fly a spaceship, and the scope and scale of this movie is huge and amazing, and it looks so good on the big screen. But at the same time, the emotional through line is something that we can all relate to, about this boy looking for connection, finding it in his first friend, coming to understand the planet where he's from a little bit more. We're kind of able to do all those things because we work at Pixar, and that's, everybody who works on these movies are so passionate about the movies that they work on. They want our movies to, we all want our movies to resonate with audiences of all ages. We want audiences to have a takeaway from our movies, to feel a catharsis at the end, to laugh and to cry. So we, feel very proud that Elio lives up to our studio's high expectations.
Mary Alice, why should audiences see this film on the big screen?
Audiences should go see Elio on the big screen because it is one of the most beautiful films we've ever made at Pixar. I think we're at our best when we make these immersive worlds that have this depth and richness to it. And Elio is certainly one of, if not the most beautiful films. And it's also a story about connection, about family and friends. And I think for me, one of the best things, I love going to the movies all the time, but I love going to the movies with my whole family. We can go to one movie together, really enjoy this epic space adventure, but also leave with something to talk about, just how connection is so important. In friendship, you can find it anywhere, and how much it means that we're connected as a family.
First off, what is Elio about? And tell us a little about the film.
Elio is about a journey of a young boy who really feels he doesn't fit in with the kids around him. He's dealing with grief, and he decides that he would be happier in a different universe as he tries to discover his unique self. And I think that's the core of the movie.
Tell us about your character and what drew you to this project.
Well, my character is Grigon. I am the warlord of the Communiverse, and it's the first villain I've ever played in a Pixar film. So that was enticing to me because I've always wanted to play a villain. And when they showed me the sketches and I learned about the movie, it was just a no-brainer for me. And
who is Elio? Describe what he is going through and his relationship with your character.
Well, Elio is a young boy who's really trying to figure out where he fits in his little world. He's like myself. I was bullied as a kid. He is going through this and experiencing it. And I think all children spend their early years trying to figure out who they are, where they fit, how to make friends. And I think he goes on this journey where we're able to see how he finds his courage, his importance, and what really matters in life.
Who is Glorden? Talk about Elio and Glorden's unlikely yet very special friendship.
So Glorden ends up becoming Elio's good buddy, and really probably his first good friend, who ironically is Grigon's son, who we discover in the movie. And I think that they're two youngsters. Do people say youngsters anymore? I know they don't say trousers. Okay. But they're actually two youngsters who have a lot more in common than you would think. I think they're both trying to discover who they are. One in the Communiverse, and Elio being from Earth, and then a member of the Communiverse. So I think what they share in common is they're kind of kids that are lonely and are looking for purpose and where they belong.
How exciting is it to be part of an original, all-new Pixar feature film?
Well, it's very exciting to be part of a film like this. I'm a huge animation buff, and I've had the honor of working with Pixar in many things.
Well, what was it like working with the filmmakers at Pixar?
Well, the filmmakers at Pixar are, I think, the best. I mean, I feel weird saying this because they employ me. But when you see a film like Elio, just like the first time I saw Finding Nemo, they just bring animation to another level. Visually, this movie is stunning. But what's great is the characters are so multi-layered. You know, in this one, Elio, there's a lot of heart. He learns to deal with grief, which is a touchy subject, obviously, for children. But the way they approach that in this film just gives it those textures of emotion that we don't see often in films, be they real or animated.
Take us inside the recording booth at Pixar. What is it like? Did you get to work with any of the other voice characters when recording?
Well, unfortunately, there is a restraining order between me and 3 of the alien voices. No, actually, like most animated films, I work alone, or they want me not around other people. I can never tell what it is, but I think it's a mutual choice. But you know what's really great? You're working on a soundstage that had some of the greatest voice-over actors in history standing there, and then me. So you know you feel the difference. I know the director did.
Why does seeing the film in the theater enrich the experience for moviegoers? And why should everyone try to see this on the big screen? What are some of the things that make this film such a fun ride for audiences?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm a big fan of seeing movies in the theater, and especially animation. And when you see this film on a big screen, now I'm not going to lie to you, I did watch it in my car on my GPS. But then later I went into a theater and I saw it on a big screen, and that's how you got to take this movie in. I mean, without sounding trite, there's a magical thing about it. The animation is just really stunning. It's really great. And I think, you know, unless they're Westerns, you got to see them in the theater. Westerns you watch on your phone or you listen to it on the radio on Sunday with Nana. That was always a great thing for me. But what I think people are going to really love about this film is the heart, the discovery for Elio of how he finds himself, the obstacles we face in life, not just parking here today, which was horrendous, but the real things that are important.
First, what is Elio about? Tell us a little about the film.
Elio is the story of this little boy that is trying to come to grips with the loss of his parents and is trying to find his place in the world. He's so young and unable to understand the feelings that he's experiencing that he really wishes that he was somewhere else. This is all happening while his aunt Olga is trying to come to grips with accepting the fact that her life took this life-changing turn, and she now has to give up, you know, her childhood dream of being an astronaut to now become her nephew's mom and guardian. They're both mourning. They're trying to do the best that they can. But the essence, there's a moment when Olga tells Elio in the end that I may not understand you, but I love you. It's just about these two individuals that, though they may not understand themselves and each other and so many things, they do love each other. So the story is definitely about just love and family and self-acceptance.
So you touched on this, your character. Tell us more about your character and who is Olga Solis.
Olga Solis, she is, I feel like Olga has a lot more in common with Elio than she may think, especially right now in her life. She's trying to do the best that she can. She's trying to sort of juggle, her work life now with this newfound mom life that she has by caring for her nephew. And she doesn't think that she's succeeding at any of these roles. But she cares a whole lot. She thinks that in order for her to solve a lot of the issues that she believes are afflicting Elio, she has to understand him better. But Elio always seems either a step ahead of her or 3 steps ahead of her, or she feels just like, just missing the ball completely. And it isn't until she loses Elio that she realizes that it doesn't matter what Elio may need and whether or not she understands Elio. She just wants to love him, and she wants to be there for him.
What was it like working with the filmmakers, Domi, Maddie, and Mary Alice at Pixar?
It was amazing. I celebrate women a whole lot. And, I am a mother of boys, and I'm so happy about that. But women have a very special place in my heart. So Pixar has always been a childhood dream of mine to be a part of. And but never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I was going to be directed in a Pixar movie by 3 incredible women. We had a blast, from speaking Eliolese, with Maddie, to speaking about matters of the heart when it concerned Olga and Elio with Domi. And Mary Alice just being this amazing godmother that oversaw the whole thing. It was so supportive and such an enabler for all the good things, all things good. It just felt like it was just a dream team.
Tell us, inside the recording booth at Pixar, what is it like? Did you get to work with Jonas when recording?
We did not get to work together. By the time I joined the team, Jonas had recorded almost 85% of his work. And but that meant also that I heard amazing stories about him from the girls. I met him for the very first time last year at D23, but we were instantly just pals. He's very talented. He's so committed. And there's something really melodic about the sound of his voice that I know from the very first moment I heard him speak, I can immediately identify him as Elio. So I can't really tell sometimes Jonas and Elio apart. I'm extremely proud of him. I think he has a wonderful career ahead of him because he's had a wonderful career so far.
Pixar has a rich history of exploring the power of friendship and connection by creating classic duos. Talk about how this tradition continues with Elio and Gordon's unlikely yet very special friendship.
Oh my gosh. What they have is something really special that I feel like so many kids can identify with, especially children that feel, frequently misunderstood, and how lucky they feel when they find that one friend, that one little soulmate that they can identify with. Those bonds end up being really timeless and very special. And I feel like that's what Elio and Gordon have. They are friends that can confide in each other. They are friends that can confide in each other, but they're also friends that can tell each other the truth. And I that's what I found really extra special about their relationship.
Why does seeing this film in a theater enrich the experience for moviegoers, and why should everyone try to see this on the big screen? What are some of the things that make this film such a fun ride for audiences?
I mean, just the journey from Earth to space and how elaborately beautiful and colorful all of our animators made this film. It can only be appreciated in the big screen. I'm telling you. So I think it is absolutely necessary to bring your grandma, bring your siblings, bring your children, and have your children bring their friends, and go see Elio in the big screen. Have your big bowl of popcorn, splurge on some Glorb, get your big tub of popcorn, sit down with all of your family members, and go watch Pixar's Elio.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you hitting play on that interview. But you know what else would help? Hit that like button. Also, subscribe so you can hear and see my next interview. And as always, thank you for your support.